What's going on, America? It's your man Headkrack. It's time for the hip hop spot. We're living in very interesting times, so I had to bring one of the most interesting dudes in rap in to break it down, man. Killer Mike, 100% of himself, one half for Run the Jewels.
Absolutely.
One of the most fierce lyricists in the game, man. Super Tuesdays, get ready to pop off. There's a lot of candidates out there. We know who you're rocking with. Explain why Bernie's the man.
Bernie's the man because his social policy agenda will affect you immediately. If you're poor, working class, if you're black, if you're Latin, if you're poor, working class or middle class, person, period, his agenda affects you immediately. Bringing women up to a fair wage affects you. Bringing minimum wage up to $15 affects you. How does it affect me, Mike? Well, if people are paid $15, I tell my barbers this. If people start getting paid $15 an hour, they can get 2 haircuts a week instead of 1 haircut a week.
Right.
People have money, use that money to spend. If that money's in the circulation, black businesses in Atlanta get money. So damn, what else does he do, Mike? He's ending federal mandatory minimums on sentencing. So that way we can bring people with nonviolent drug offenses home to actually be business people for real and not just caught up in the prison system. He's taking marijuana off as a Schedule 1 narcotic. That means millions of people who are in pain and suffering who worry about smoking marijuana federal and getting a federal case no longer will have to worry about that. He's talking about free schooling. Our women currently graduate college at a greater degree than any other person in America. More black girls could go to school if public school was free through college. You know what I mean? So for me, I just see him and his policy being able to affect us in a way that I haven't seen since I heard Dr. King's social justice platform. And based on that, that's why he's getting my vote, and that's why I think other black people should vote for him.
Now, Mike, when you speak of decriminalizing marijuana, there's a lot of people currently serving time off of minor infractions, things like that. So if something like that does come to pass, do these people get let free, or is it grandfathered in?
Well, what he'll be doing is he will be reducing the mandatory sentences that are. Now, what will happen, though, is because his philosophy is instead of locking people up and letting them out, there should be a pathway back into citizenship. So a federal case or even a state or a local case, marijuana case, could keep you out of a job, could keep you out of college, and thanks to the Clinton's welfare bill in '96, could get you kicked out of subsidized housing. He'll plan to repeal all that and to make it, once again, to treat addiction like a health problem. My mother is a former addict. I have friends whose mothers that are former addicts. Instead of them being treated like criminals under Bernie Sanders, you have people that can be treated in hospitals versus going to jail. You know what I mean? So for me, that's a more humane way. That's a more sensible way. That makes more sense to restore the human being, makes more sense than to villainize and punish poor people.
Word. Now, it's no secret that a lot of prisons out there are privately owned. So there's a vested interest.
Something else that the 1994 Clinton crime bill helped happen. That bill donated about $30 billion into law enforcement and prisons, and subsequently that money never made it to schools. So your kids, instead of being educated to a greater degree, have been incarcerated to a greater degree.
Yo. Dropping jewels over here. Speaking of jewels, Run the Jewels. It's getting it cracking. Arguably the largest act on mass appeal. One of the dopest groups that will be performing this year at Coachella. Now, for people who have not got their tickets yet, but are trying to StubHub their way through the situation,
you might want to get your ticket.
What can they expect at Coachella this year?
We're gonna raise hell and burn it down.
Hell yeah!
We're gonna burn that stage to the fucking ground.
Dude, I saw you guys at the Atlanta joint.
we were at 595 North, I think. Or no, we were at
Centennial.
We did
Piedmont Park.
We did Midtown Music Festival this year.
So if that was like at a 9.5.
Nah, that honestly that was a great show, but that show was about a 7.
That was my first time I saw you. So you guys rock.
Yeah, you gotta see our 9.5.
I rated it high.
Our 9.5 is kids. And we've had these shows many times this year. Kids literally crowd surf the entire show, and kids walk on the crowd like Jesus did on water. Like that's awesome. It gets crazy at our 9.5 show.
Now, typically you're regarded to be a pretty serious dude. What is the last movie you saw that you just laughed hysterically at until like snot was coming out your nose?
I laugh all the time, man. I'm not a very serious dude. I take things that are serious, but man, I was watching Trading Places the other day, smoking a joint with my wife, laughing like hell.
What is your favorite scene in Trading Places?
My favorite when he comes in his outfit, hello. call when he calls
on the train.
Yeah, fooling nobody. That scene is absolutely crazy. And when he's running from the police, even though he has legs, he's running. The cops pick him up. He lets his legs down. Eddie Murphy's one of the greatest comics ever. But yeah, we watch Trading Places, lighting up.
One of the illest Dan Aykroyd scenes, and this sticks with me all the time. Anytime I see a nice piece of salmon or steak, is when he was on the train and the steak was in his. And there was like beard hair in the steak. Yo, that dude hit rock bottom, man.
That's it.
Yo, Killer Mike, thank you for coming through, educating and empowering the people, man.
Absolutely.
Like,
that's what we're here to do.
It's one of the few dudes that's keeping it true, keeping it classic, and is an activist at the same damn time. He's Killer Mike. You should run the jewels. This Headkrack's hip hop spot. Easy.